Purdy. Okay, but I will say for me when I think about Brock Purdy, and I think a lot of people are starting to feel this way, especially after the last couple of weeks. What you've seen what Brock Purdy is, and you've seen what Brock Purdy is not, right? And some of us had to do with injuries around him, but it's up. Sometimes it's up to the quarterback to kind of band-aid some of those issues. And Brock Purdy is not a guy who's going to band-aid those issues. Some of the greats all time, they band-aided some issues that you will see. Even with Tom Brady, he didn't always have the most talented cast, but he knew how to get the ball to the people when they needed to get, when in the space that they needed to be successful in. So it's like, Peyton Manning, when there was injuries and stuff like that, or lack of running game or something like that, he knew what to do. And I feel like with Brock Purdy, my biggest issue with Brock Purdy is I don't know if he seems like a really good game manager, right? He gives off the same kind of swag that Jimmy G gave off when he was in San Francisco, right? Like a guy who is good under a good coaching staff, and good with talent around him. But when you take him out of that situation, and it's hard to say because, of course, if you take somebody out of a good situation, you put him in a bad situation, it's kind of like what? But just looking at him from a talent perspective, he just don't move the needle to me. Like, he ain't going. I don't feel like he's a guy who's going to throw you open. I've been kind of raving about him all year, more so just saying, before these last couple of weeks, more so just saying like he's going to make the right play and he's not going to turn the ball over. And he's been lacking that lately, right? He's been lacking making the right play and not turning the ball over. And maybe that's because things got a little bit more difficult for him lately because you don't got Deebo Samuel and you got, injuries with Christian McCaffrey and some of the other guys, right? The guys you expect to be there, the guys you expect to make an impact, they ain't, unfortunately, they ain't been there. So, I mean, overall, to me, Brock Purdy, I mean, he's an okay guy, right? He probably falls. He's probably better than maybe a guy like a Daniel Jones. As much as I love Daniel Jones, I've been on the Daniel Jones train, but Daniel Jones ain't truly proven it to me yet, right? So, he's probably in that like average to below average tier. That's just what I think.
See, Brock Purdy is like an example of what I was ranting on earlier, right? It's like what what the lowest bar for a white quarterback, bro? Just throw it on time. It's like the lowest bar. That's all they have to do, and they be boosted up to be the superstar from that point on. Like anybody watch Purdy last year or this year, see a player that has not much talent, bro. You can see a player that is benefiting from the talent around him. It is obvious. And all you got to do is not make mistakes. And all this stuff should work. You feel me?
What's crazy about it though, because if we want to bring the race aspect of it into it, into this discussion, you think about how many other really talented guys that came in with that may have came in with hope early on in college. Maybe they had some injuries or something like that. I think of a guy like a RG3. I think of a guy like Cam Newton, right? That maybe had some injuries but had success in the league at some point in time. They don't get as many chances as everybody else. Now I get it. RG3 got a couple chances here and there, but for the most part, he got chances as being a backup, and that was about it, right?
Yeah.
Like nobody was after Washington. It felt like nobody was like, "Oh man, we got to give RG3 a chance to be the starter." I think he was a starter in Cleveland for a little bit, but I mean
And I
it's
think
Cleveland,
he
right?
was rookie of the year. Oh, no, he wasn't rookie of the year. Did he win
He
something?
was rookie of the year, I think.
He was?
Yeah, he was rookie of the year. He took that team to the playoffs. Like, I mean,
Now you see
you
what I'm saying?
you talking about early success, like,
Like if
and
Brock
really,
Purdy
and we
was
talking about
rookie
an
of the year.
organization who has failed many a quarterback over the years, right? Like, let's be honest, Washington is not the
True.
greatest quarterback whispering organization in the world, no matter what the talent they have on there. Sam Howell's a good quarterback, but unfortunately,
True.
he could fall victim to what what we see right now.
But the league itself, right? Should like when people come free or something like that. If you prove yourself, the league itself, you know what I'm saying? It's not a certain team. But like overall, if you prove yourself, you're gonna be seen. You're gonna be somebody gonna pick you up if you know what I'm saying. Show some type of skills.
Yeah.
I would think, but the lowest denominator for most of these quarterbacks, the Brock Purdy's, the who was in Dallas, Cody, whatever the fuck his mother's name is. Then you had another one in New England, Trippy. What was that? Tippy or some shit? Got that one. You just yanking these people out who really ain't doing nothing for real, and blowing them up to something they not. The same thing happened with Garoppolo. That's how he got most of his motherfucking contracts.
Well,
It's like,
I talked a lot about. I used to talk about Sam Bradford was one of those guys, right? I get it. He was and it's hard because I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and be like, well, but he was the number one overall pick and he deserves a little bit of slack. Like, yeah, but we don't give these other guys the same slack as we gave everybody else. Cam Newton is a former MVP, but we don't want to talk about that. We want to talk about the time he got brought in halfway through the season and the results weren't good because you got brought in after training camp, after the preseason, after 8 games of regular season. Okay, like, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I think it's getting better because I think black quarterbacks are starting to become almost the majority, right? Like, you don't like I can't remember who I was talking to about it. I should name a show. I can't remember who I was talking to about this, but like I was talking to somebody about how quarterbacks are like there's a different style of quarterback now. We talk about it every time we come on too. And think about it. Like that stand in the pocket, statuesque quarterback, can't move around, can't do anything. It's the last of a dying breed right now, right? You're gonna at this point in time, at this point in the NFL, as athletic as defenders are, as athletic as everybody else is on the other side of the ball, you got to be at least a little bit athletic nowadays. You just do.
Yeah.
To get, look at Myles Garrett, don't even look like a friggin' defensive end. Look at the Bosa's, don't look like, they don't, these ain't the defensive end of old, right? These are athletic.
Exactly.
Yeah. Linebacker type. They linebacker type,
yeah.
Defensive ends now, man. Like even the defensive tackles are leaning down. Like there's a couple of big ones, but for the most part, the defensive tackles are leaning down too. And it's just like, man, like
exactly.
Everybody's getting more and more athletic, and the quarterback position is starting. Especially even when like RG3 was out there. Like, and Andrew Luck is another one who like he was more athletic than he looked, right? Like, he had to be a little bit more athletic because he was in that era of like, hey, like I got to move around, I gotta find this spot here. I got to make a play with my legs every so often or something like that. So yeah, I agree. I definitely think white quarterbacks get a little bit more of a still to this day, a little bit more of a leeway, a little bit more of a, it's kind of like, hey, well, he was drafted high overall, so I got to give him another chance, or we've seen plenty of times, even just like this season alone, you got guys who maybe haven't played in a little bit of time, but you got guys who,
what's his name? San Francisco. They sent to the Dollars.
Trey Lance.
Yeah. You think he had an opportunity there? He played one
season,
he got hurt the next season. They traded him.
You talking about in San Francisco?
Yeah. Now you see what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think so. But I think different organizations are. I think organizations are kind of different too, because like, so for me, and like I'm not, and like I said, I'm talking from a fan's perspective. I'm not talking from I know this, that, and the third. I'm talking from a fan's perspective and how I would run an NFL organization, right? If I drafted you high overall, I'm gonna give you every single chance I can for you to be successful. You might be a bust, but I'm gonna know for a darn fact you a bust. It ain't gonna be you had one bad season. We didn't put weapons around you. We didn't get a good defense with you. We had bad coaching the whole time. Like no. I didn't draft the right players. No, like we gonna know everything we need to know. And I think with Trey Lance, I don't think we really got to see it. Right? I think like they traded up to get him, and then
Purdy in.
That Purdy. I think because of the injuries, Purdy earned his spot, and Purdy played well last year, right? So you had no reason to believe until the last couple of games. You had no reason to believe that Purdy was an issue. But then, as injuries started to happen and stuff like that, Purdy's not a move. What was he just talking about? Purdy is not a movement guy, right? So he's a statue. So I don't have to worry about you running, and because I don't have to worry about you running, I can play better coverage on the back end, or I can get after you and with blitzes.
Before we move on though, but I'm starting to think the NFL itself hasn't grasped this yet. Because you remember it started with the Red Commanders with RG3 and what's his name? When you don't know which one you want to play. You got somebody that's real dynamic,
Mm-hmm.
but then you got
Oh
just the
yeah,
basic
you're right.
quarterback. You feel
You're
me?
right.
It's
You're
like the
right.
NFL itself haven't grasped what they want to do. Same thing in Chicago. You got offensive coordinator who want to do it where the quarterback is just getting out two. That's not the kind of quarterback you got. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we need people to first of all the NFL itself got to catch up to this here. Like these teams cannot keep forcing the issue to these dynamic quarterbacks to make them Montana. You know what I'm saying? Just like that's going backwards. That's not why they here. You know what I'm saying? Make it work like this, the way they do it. You know what I'm saying? I just think if it's used right and correctly, right, you can be an almost unstoppable offense, bro. If you use your quarterback right, that can do this. Like my quarterback ran for 1,200 yards, right? I think your quarterback ran for more than that. Because matter of fact, yeah, he got the lead.
It's just by a little bit. Just by a little bit.
Exactly. That's a lot of yards. You know what I'm saying? For a quarterback.
Yeah.
So you gotta use that. You gotta harness that and be like, hold on. He basically can run like running backs out here. So we can just so many plays you can run like that. It's just like you should not be stopped with a quarterback that can literally play all positions. You feel me?
And
You,
I
you can
think,
put him on receiver.
yeah. I My other thing too is, and I said this before about Lamar Jackson as a player and him wanting to be able to pass the ball more. You have to use his athletic ability to your advantage. He is dangerous with his legs. He will break off and run on
That's
you
my
on a
point.
scramble with his legs. But there's nothing wrong with using his legs as a decoy, running them out on a rollout and sneaking somebody behind, like we saw it a couple weeks ago against, I think it was the Lions. The last game we talked about together, like you saw,
Yeah.
he rolled out like he was gonna run. You got some, you make sure ain't nobody ineligible downfield. You sneak the Mark Andrews behind him. I mean, that's a touchdown right there, right? Like I think sometimes, and I think Cam said it as well on his show. He said, "Hey, like sometimes you just got to simplify this stuff. It
Mm-hmm.
don't got to be nothing crazy. It don't got to be, sometimes, he says sometimes like all the wordsmith type stuff where you like, you got to say 32 Y orange banana with a broken toenail. And like when you got to say all that, sometimes it gets overcomplicated when people are only looking for one word, a couple of words in the play. Like the receivers, they know you say something about why, okay, that's me. All right, I'm going. They know
Exactly.
already.
Yeah.
So it's like, like use even with the Bears, what the Bears should be doing a little more is using Justin Fields, using the fact that everybody in the league knows his ability as a runner and use that to his advantage in the passing game, right?
Exactly.
Especially on these like third and shorts, fourth and shorts, and stuff like that. In the red zone, when you can move him around a little bit and he can say, all right, I mean, shoot, Justin Fields is 6'3". I think he's taller than any of the other mobile quarterbacks out there right
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
right? So like if you let him move, maybe just move to one side and then you see somebody behind it. I mean, that's easy right there because I'm gonna look at Justin Fields because and another thing too, play off the narrative then, Chicago, right? Oh, he can't pass. He's not accurate. He can't throw. Okay, cool. Play off that narrative. Why don't you go out there and run a little bit of that play action boot type stuff? Run a
Yeah.
little bit of that, like, oh, he can't pass, so we gonna come collapse in on him. And then you got somebody right over the top.
Over top. Yeah.
Easy money.
Exactly. But yeah, that's a good topic right there because it's really evolving right now as we speak in the NFL. With it's really haven't been grasped yet. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see soon later. Far as I'm concerned, I can tell you, Ravens quarterback, your quarterback, is really meshed the two things together pretty good. be honest with you. So, far as he concerned, he ahead of my quarterback in years right now. But I think he really found the sweet spot that we all looking for this type of athletic quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
What did you think about your man getting fired out in Vegas?
I
ASAP.
mean,
Damn.
it's Josh McDaniels, man. Like everywhere he go, unless it's New England, where he got Bill Belichick to tell him no, it's just not a success. Like he went back to New England as an offensive coordinator, and
Mm-hmm.
that's how he got the job with the Raiders,
Yeah.
right? Like I don't know if Josh McDaniels ever gets another job again because I think he's had three. I think one
He'll
he
probably
quit
be
on
New
before
England
he
coach.
even
He probably go
started.
back to New England.
Yeah, he'd probably go back to New England possibly because that's where he's successful at, and he's shown that he can be successful in New England. But in terms of being a head coach,
Oh no.
I don't in the NFL. I just don't see it. You know,
One of
that's a
them
whole
coaches
that
that
that's a
won't go
you
to.
want to talk about topics. Black coaches versus white coaches is a whole nother topic we
Oh
can
my
have
God.
because they give Josh McDaniels a whole nother opportunity for Eric Bieniemy get one. But anyway,
That's true.
it's just it's one of those things, man, where it's just like I don't know why it's weird that they keep taking chances on Josh McDaniels. Like, I'm not surprised by this. I mean, you put Josh McDaniels, a guy who has proven that he is not a good coach yet, with an organization that is proven they can't do nothing but get in their own way. Like, what do you expect? Like, I mean, only thing that could have been worse is putting Josh McDaniels on the Browns before Deshaun Watson got there. Like I mean,
And then
what do
your
you expect?
man had a fit the other night. You think that's why he got fired? Devontae
Um,
Adams was having a fit the other night.
I mean,
Like the next time they you get fired. Like, what's that about?
I mean,
And
I
the
think
GM? Shit.
I think the writing was on the wall a little bit, man. Like I mean, you think about it. Like, yes, they got rid of Derek Carr, which was a big loss, but they bring in Jimmy Garoppolo, and you expect to at least be competitive, and they really haven't been. They
Garoppolo's
got
trash.
last year's leading rusher, and it feels like he's taking a step back, and it probably ain't his fault, but it just feels like he's taking a step back. You got a guy who was a lot of people were calling a top 5 receiver before he came there, and Devontae Adams. And he looks like he's struggling, and we all know how talented he is. So
Mhm.
something,
That is
you got an
true.
offensive head coach, something's amiss, something's amiss. And
I really think it's the quarterback, man.
yeah, I mean, I think so too. I think they were mistaken for going and get Jimmy
Garoppolo.
G.
Mhm.
I didn't think it was a bad idea at the time, but I think now in hindsight, I can admit that I feel like, I think I was
Jimmy G
glad
a
that Derek
backup.
Carr got out of there because Derek Carr needed to be in a place where people actually believed in him too. Not to say he's playing well either, but it's
Jimmy
just like
G, he a backup.
yeah, I mean,
They
and that's
keep
another
making him
guy who
starter,
gets
but he just a
that's
backup.
another guy who's like a glorified game manager gets chance after chance after chance. You
Exactly.
know, I
And
mean,
these
like
game
for
managers.
let's be honest, right? Jacoby Brissett, what he did with the Browns last year to just keep them afloat and keep them moving while Deshaun wasn't out there, and he's still sitting in a backup somewhere. Look how long
Man,
it took Geno Smith to get another chance. Now that
exactly.
Geno Smith got it, hey, he ain't letting it go. But like I think that's the thing about
And
it.
then
Like
the rest of
I
these
think
quarterbacks be around forever. Dalton, just what do they still? They
yeah
still pick these quarterbacks up, bro. It's like, and we all know why because they do. They say, "quote." They run the offense. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, I don't get it, man.
yeah.
And
I've
I just
always
think
I've always found it weird though. Like why I can understand bringing Dalton in, but why wouldn't you bring in another guy like Bryce Young in Carolina, right? Like I can learn a lot from you. Yes, like for example, like when Lamar was a rookie, I think the fact that RG3 was there and could tell him what to do and what not to do, along with the Super Bowl winning quarterback in Joe Flacco, I think the combination of the two is what helped, right?
that's true.
The quarterback room is big for those young quarterbacks. why doesn't Bryce Young have another guy that's kind of a little bit more athletic and can show him? Because Andy Dalton ain't doing the things that Bryce Young can do. So like, I can't teach you, hey, if you roll into the left, all I know is if
Yeah,
I'm rolling to the left, I'm probably running for my life if I'm Andy Dalton, right? Bryce
yeah.
Young probably rolled to the left for a
He's looking
reason,
to
like he,
slide ASAP,
by
man.
design, you know.
It's like, yeah, like your quarterback, my quarterback, when they get out there, it's no looking to slide. It's looking to what's the opening? Because I'm about to go 80. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a different look for these quarterbacks. Like if Dalton get out the pocket, he's rushing to slide somewhere real quick. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and if Jackson get out the pocket, he's looking to cut back or see opening so he can just go. You know what I'm saying? Dog? Same thing with Justin Fields. They look for an opening. They trying to dip, not slide. You know what I'm saying? It's a big difference. That makes them dynamic. It makes them the X factor on the squad.
Yeah.
But I don't know, the trade deadline just passed away and shit. It was a lot moving. There was a lot going on though. But one main thing that happened for the Chicago Bears picked up Marquez Sweat. What you think of him before he came to the Bears?
I mean, he was highly talented in college as like
Mm-hmm.
a really fast rusher, like a really good speed rusher. I don't. It's weird because I don't feel like I've heard a lot out of him. I'm sure he's still been playing well,
Mm-hmm.
but they had him, they had Chase Young, I think Deron Payne, right? They had other guys who people were kind of keying in on more than
Mm-hmm.
Montez Sweat. And I
Yeah.
think sometimes Montez Sweat kind of took a back seat. I think I saw something that said Montez Sweat got more sacks this year than the Bears, the whole team combined, the whole defense combined. So
Yeah.
like that's big for y'all, to add a guy like him, into the fold. I think,
That's the key
I
point.
think,
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's good.
And then another thing, right? The whole last year was getting rid of players and you know what I'm saying? Like they blew the whole team up last year, right?
Hmm.
That's why I told you beginning of the year. I'm not expecting that. Like, I'm not expecting like the first couple of games for us to be blowing everybody out the box. You know what I'm saying? I expect the GM to keep doing what he doing like this. Keep plugging players in, putting players in this joint. You know what I'm saying? Build the
Yeah,
roster, basically. You know what I'm saying, dog? And then
yeah,
as you build a roster, we can see things happening on the field get better and better. You know what I'm saying? But in the meanwhile, you can't flip a roster and then expect them to win the first 2 games and 3 games all together again the following year. I just don't see the logic in that. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got to give these teams time to mesh. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
now, we realize that our front four is not getting enough rush. Boom, you go out and get Montez Sweat. So we
yeah.
played enough games to realize certain things. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
We need to upgrade on. And when you got opportunity to pick him up, you do that. You know what I'm saying? You building a roster. I think to me, I think I like my GM. You know what I'm saying? I really like everything he's been doing since we've been. I don't want to discuss the DJ Moore trade because that's automatic. That's lovable. You know what I'm saying? But I just like everything he be doing, man. It's like get the best players possible now.
And
You
it
know what I'm saying?
and like what I do like about y'all's GM, because I think the Bears get a lot of flack for misses or what they didn't do or like what they did but didn't work out. Like at least he's
Hmm.
being aggressive and he's trying, right? Like
Exactly.
Claypool, everybody wants to be like, oh, ha ha ha, the Bears traded for Claypool and now he's already off the roster. Yeah, I get that. I don't think I would have personally given up on him that quickly. But at the same time, I mean, you don't know what's going on in the locker room either. Like I don't,
That,
right?
that was the problem. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, but he's trying, right? Like he literally
Exactly.
in the over the course
Take a
of the
shot.
last season and off season has surrounded Justin Fields with premium talent at the wide receiver position, or at least guys who have been there and done that before. So
Yeah.
why, like I can't be mad at that. And then to go get Montez Sweat too. I
Hmm.
mean, like I would, I was a little bit mad the Ravens didn't go get him. If Washington just fire selling their whole young defensive line, I mean, we got injuries at the defensive line right now, or the rush positions at least. So I mean, but I mean, I get it.
And I
I
know some of the
understand it.
Commanders fans too. There's some of them they was mad at first. Talking about now it's cool now because they couldn't pay everybody. Then I stop and say, okay, is that a GM malpractice where you draft 4 number 1 defensive tackles back to back to back?
Yeah, I think.
What the heck?
Well, the crazy part is like
First
Montez Sweat been in
rounders,
the league for
all of
what,
them.
about 4 years now, I think. Him and Chase Young, they both been in the league for
Exactly.
for a little bit now.
Yeah,
And like that was the whole key. Like they was building this elite defense,
you ain't coming
and
on.
then there's gonna have the
It's
offense
tough.
kind of
It's a tough
piggyback on it.
grind
And
now.
now,
It ain't that easy.
yeah, I mean, and also like I think a GM malpractice is uh not being able to sign your guys, right? Why can't you figure out a way to sign Montez Sweat and Chase Young?
Yeah, I
You
understand
got
that
elite
either.
pass rushers right there.
I didn't get that either. It's like they are on your team. You know what I'm saying? It's like you did draft them, even though I don't think no other GM would draft that many all back to back like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You missed out somewhere on receiver, running back, or somebody. Like you did some crazy shit. You did that. Like
Yeah.
how many you need down that joint? God damn. But all of them is a hit. Now I'm not gonna lie. Him, Young, except for Young got hurt, and the rest of them they nice on that front four.
Well,
You know.
and the good part for the Bears too, you pairing Montez Sweat, Unique Ngakoue, it's only gonna make both of them better. It's
Yeah,
you putting
and
one
plus
really good rusher
Ngakwe
with another really good rusher.
makes
It's only
sense,
gonna
man.
make them better.
That's what I mean. Like he reaching out there and grabbing the best players possible at this
Yeah,
point in time, and I like
and
that.
and it's obvious that y'all ain't trying to like fire sale to hold on. Y'all ain't having a yard sale in the front yard talking about we getting rid of everybody because Jalen
Yeah,
Johnson
yeah.
wanted to
We did
trade
that
too.
last year. We did that last year.
Jalen Johnson wanted to trade. He wanted to get out of there, but y'all said
We won a
we
one
built.
for him, bro.
Yeah, we building for something here. So
Think
it
about it.
might
The
take a little
GM
time.
said you can go and get traded, but I want a one back.
Mhm.
Dude, you know what? He gonna be walking his ass back with his tail between his legs for sure. Ain't nobody give you no one. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
That was smart. That was smart negotiation. Go out there, find out what you can get, but tell them give me a one when they get you. You know what I'm saying? Now, ain't
Mhm.
nobody giving up no one for you. So that was smart. I like that. You know, but I don't know what's been going on with Odell Beckham. He been quiet.
Well, it's funny. It's funny. I watched this video. Shout out to Sip to Tally Films. Really good film guy. He got another channel, more Sip to Tally, where he talk about other teams other than the Ravens. Uh, but I watched him for the Ravens stuff, and he was talking about Odell. He was talking about the title of the video is Odell washed, right? Because that's what everybody been saying. Odell's washed. He can't get open. He can't get separation. He ain't making the catches. He don't got any touchdowns on the year. Like, is he really making big plays? And when you watch the videos, you see Odell's getting open, but the corners are playing in emergency mode, right? Because Odell's getting open, so they holding him. So he's picking up a lot of penalties. He's picking up a lot of penalty yards, and what don't go on the stat sheet? Penalty yards. Not for the receiver at least, right? So they don't correlate to receiving yards and receiving touchdowns. So like even just watching that video today, it's like and I think Rashad Bateman should get some more chances too. I think they should play Bateman, Zay Flowers, and honestly, they should play Bateman, Zay Flowers, Nelson Aguilar, Mark Andrews, all of them on the field at the same time if you can do it. But I think
The game the other day, he looked frustrated to me. Remember,
yeah, he was frustrated
he
because
started
he's
talking
been
about he
getting
have a
held all year
touchdown.
long.
He have a touchdown in 3 years or some shit.
Yeah, he's been getting held all year long, and like you think about it, like I'm sure I can guarantee you, especially with his injuries as of late too, there's probably a playing like how many games you play incentive in his contract, and there probably is some sort of touchdowns incentive in his contract. You know, so he's like, I want to make this money. Like not just for being greedy, but like I'm here, I'm open, I'm open. They hold me, I can't do that. Like what am I supposed to do? Like it's an interesting video to watch because like you see like every time like he gets a little bit of separation, I'm gonna grab him. Every time. I'm not gonna give up a touchdown to Odell. I give up this penalty yardage, but I ain't gonna give
Oh
up a
yeah,
touchdown.
exactly. Not because he
And that's
talks
what
so
you talk
much
to
out
do.
there.
Yeah.
They talk so much to DBs so much, they be like, "Fuck that, you just ain't scoring." I'm gonna take this motherfucking penalty out here. I'm not letting you score.
Yep.
They're gonna have sneak tush push this bitch. You won't get it. I don't give a fuck where they motherfucking do the penalty at. They gonna tush push it. You won't score, man. Well, I don't know. What y'all got going on with the next on y'all schedule from this point on?
So I know next up we got the Seahawks, which is a tough one. The Seahawks are a sneaky 5-2 team or 6-2 team. Um, they don't feel like they should be 6-2, but they are. By hook or by crook, they found a way to be 6-2. Um, I think that'll be a tough one. Then of course you got the division games coming up. I feel like feel like the bye is forever away. I feel like this 4 game stretch before the bye comes, if they can find a way to get out of this stretch unscathed 4-0, I mean, think about how big that would be for the Ravens. Like to pretty much you would sweep the division, right? At least the Browns and Bengals version of it. Of course, I mean, you have to lose to the Steelers because whatever. But you would sweep the division with those 2 teams at least. And then, I mean, you got a couple tough out of division games, one AFC, one NFC with the Seahawks and the Chargers. I think when it comes down
Seahawks
to the
game gonna be tough.
Seahawks, I mean, the Seahawks are tough. The Chargers are tough too. Like,
Yeah, they
but
starting to play a little better on offense.
but I mean, at least with the Chargers, you've seen them struggle early on, so you kind of know what to exploit it. The Seahawks, I think you've seen them struggle, but I think they find ways to win. I think they're well coached
I
in that
know
regard. They find ways to win. They find ways
that's
to put up
true.
points. They find ways to compete every single week.
That's
And
true.
it's crazy, man. Like, but I mean,
They don't have no mega
if they could
stars
win
either.
three or
It's
four
like
of these, it would be nice. I think winning all 4 is tough, just because you got division games in there too. Um, you got division games in there too. That's tough. But when it and we talking, well, they're division home games. So I mean, you might do I mean, you got 4 straight home games. Really, got 6 straight home games.
so. Yeah,
Uh,
y'all next
if you
game
look
is
at it,
Detroit, right?
or 5. I mean, no. We got Seahawks and then the Browns. It's the Seahawks, the Browns, the Bengals, and then the
Okay,
Chargers.
okay.
Then the bye week in week 13. So I mean, with the Seahawks, you kind of just gotta, I mean, keep doing what you've been doing. Play clean. Like the Seahawks can be one of those games where you might see the same output you saw against the Lions, right? Where they come out just clicking on all cylinders, number one, because the Seahawks traveling cross country. But number two, and they playing at a different time that they normally do. But, number two, it's like, if you could just play a clean game, and the Ravens have been doing a little bit better at playing clean lately. The Cardinals game was not their best game, but you still put up 31 points. You feel good about that. If you can still put up 31 points in a iffy outing, you still, you feel okay about that. But
This is gonna be rocky, right? When you go Seattle, Bengals, San Diego, I mean Chargers. And y'all going by though after that?
yeah, like I said, this a tough 4 game stretch because I mean
Yeah.
you got 2 division games right back to back. And then sprinkled in between, right? Sprinkled on the outsides, I guess, right? You got the Seahawks, which is a top NFC opponent. Let's just put it like that. And then the Chargers, who have the talent of a top NFC, top AFC opponent.
Next 4 joints is tough.
But I mean, like I said, if they can get out of here, I mean, 2-2, I think is the worst they'll go in this stretch. But if they can come out of here 4-0, 3-1, you feeling pretty good.
True. So now, so far, I'm basically where I thought we were. I think we should have at least 2 more wins. But other than that, the overall process, basically where we are. I thought we were gonna be, right? So the next game we got coming up right now is New Orleans Sunday. Now, I haven't got a chance to watch the Saints this year yet, so I'm not really familiar with the defense or nothing. So I don't even know what we're about to get into on Sunday. So, but I think the offense might be a little. I don't even think he playing. I don't think what's the name playing in this game. I think he got hurt. Carr.
I can't remember right off.
I don't
Let
think
me
he
look.
playing. So you got our next joint is that game. Then we play Carolina, Detroit, and Minnesota before we go on by. Now, this is a tough stretch for us too. Gonna think about it. Because now we got New Orleans, Carolina. Now, Carolina out of all these games might be the one where we can get some breather. But we never know. But for sure, Detroit and Minnesota is gonna be tough. So if we can literally squeak out the New Orleans and Charlotte game, right? Which will make us 4-6, right?
Mhm.
That Charlotte game on Justin Fields should be back. So by that time, we had to play Detroit and Minnesota with a healthy Justin Fields, 4-6, with the chance to be 6-6 before the bye. So my goal would before we go on the bye at least be 5-7, right? At the very least. So what I want to do in these next 4 games is at least win 2 of them. If we can squeak 3 of them out, bonus, right?
Mhm.
Going to the bye, and I think that last stretch with Detroit, Cleveland, Arizona, Atlanta, we need to get 4 out of these last 5. So to me, right, that's doable. To be honest with
I I think that's gonna be tough, right? Because now, to me, New Orleans is not great. Um,
you. So man, if
I
we can
think
just
New
squeak
Orleans
that
is
out.
very talented. I think they're finding their way, right? Because Alvin Kamara is getting back. Michael Thomas is like he's getting back. You know, they're talented. They're really talented.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I think that could be a tough one. Yeah. Um, in terms of, I think I think for the Bears and the Panthers, it's a perfect time to kind of lock in and get a couple wins in, uh,
True.
and kind of get yourself back in the playoff race because a lot of people feel like the Bears at 2-6 are out of the playoff race, the Panthers at 1-6 are out of the playoff race. But
Mm-mm.
look at the rest of the NFC, right? I mean,
Exactly.
you got the Washington Commanders are 3-5, the New York Giants are 2-6, the Green Bay Packers are 2-5, the Vikings are four and
Exactly.
four. They just lost their quarterback for the year, right?
Mm. I
You
forgot about
got
that.
I mean, you got the Saints at 4-4, the Falcons at 4-4, Tampa Bay is 3-4. So I mean, you 2 games back from a lot of these teams. Um, and then
Exactly.
lastly, in the NFC West, you got the Rams at 3-5, and they don't look like they know what they want to be. And the Cardinals at 1-7. You're not out of the playoff race.
So
The
basically,
top teams in the NFC are the top teams in the NFC. But other
if
than that,
if you
that's about it.
say if you say Philadelphia, Cowboys, Lions, right? After
Mhm.
that, everybody's a game apart.
Well, yeah, and it's like and I guess you got to take into account too. Let's just say Philadelphia and Dallas get in from the East, right? Because they're just so far ahead.
That's true. They're the same division.
So that's 2 playoff spots right there. Let's say Detroit gets in the North, right? Because they're so far ahead. So that's
It's gonna
three
be another
playoff
spot
spots.
in the North.
Then somebody got to get in from the South, right? Somebody got to get in from the South. We don't. I mean, I think that division is about as up in the air as you can get. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a 4 spot that's already taken. So I mean, you got like pretty much you got 5 spots. It feels like that's already taken, right? So it's 2 more spots in the crapshoot of the rest of this
At
this
least
league,
eight
and it's
teams.
kind of
Yeah.
hard because you got the Niners too, right? The Niners are 5-3, and they'll probably make the playoffs out of the NFC West. So I mean, you really only get like 1 or 2 more spots to
Mm-hmm.
try to fill in.
Exactly.
But also, like even with like the Panthers kind of have an advantage in that respect because if you look at it, the Panthers play in the South, so somebody got to come out of that division, and the Panthers are 1-6, but Atlanta's 4-4.
True.
And they lead the division right now. And the Saints are 4-4. The Tampa Bay's 3-4. So it's
And then
like,
when you really look at the NFC, it's really not that many good teams. The rest of
yeah,
the teams are basically the same. You can pluck
mhm,
out 4 teams out of the whole conference, but everybody else is the same.
yep, that's true.
So I don't know. If we could just turn up, make sure our defense keep cranking the way it is. We've been holding people to run to under 50 yards a game for the last 4 weeks. We just keep stuff up like that. We just add him on to Taylor Swift so he puts pressure on the quarterback. Just keep doing stuff like this. It's going to break, bro. We're gonna run off 3-4 straight. It's gonna happen. Like we could have did it with that Minnesota game, but Justin Fields got hurt. That would have been
Yeah.
the game right there. We won 3 straight. You see what I'm saying? So
Well,
it's coming.
it's funny. I was, it's funny. I've gotten a lot of backlash this week because I host the Panthers podcast and I was talking about how the Panthers are back in the playoff race and people are like, oh, it's only 1 win. You're crazy. I'm like, look at the rest of the NFC. and come back to me.
Exactly. That's
Look at
true.
the rest of the NFC and come back to me. Yes, it's crazy to think, but the rest of it's not. This ain't the NFC of last year.
Exactly. Everything is bottled up, real close.
Now
So
the
up until
AFC, on the
now,
other hand,
what the week is this? Up until week 9, what will be your MVP candidate up to now? This moment.
we uh, that's a good question. We talking about throughout the entire league.
Yeah. This is 9 weeks.
Mm. It's funny because I'm still kind of thinking about this because I know you sent it to me. I'm still kind of thinking about it. Um, I think I definitely got an offensive player of the year right now. Right, I definitely got an offensive player of the year
You do?
with Tyreek Hill,
Okay, I know.
just in the way he been doing stuff. But man, this is
MVP,
I
tough.
right now. I don't know. That's tough, man. Like because I don't want to be a homer and say Lamar because he's been playing at an MVP level,
Hmm.
right? And I don't want to be a homer and say Lamar, even though I want to say Lamar. So I'm not going to. I'm gonna be nice. All right, I'm gonna be nice, and I'm gonna go over here and look at everybody else. Um, I think Christian McCaffrey deserves a lot of credit for the MVP. Now, are they gonna give the running back give a running back the MVP? Because I mean, it might as well be the quarterback MVP award. Uh, I think honestly, I think Christian McCaffrey and Tyreek Hill deserve props for the MVP award, right?
Hmm.
Because Christian McCaffrey got a touchdown in what 17 straight games or something, um, including the playoffs. Like, who does that? Tyreek Hill is what did they say? He's already
He on
over a
pace for
thousand.
2,000 or
He's
something?
he's already over 1,000 yards. We're 8 games into the season.
Yeah, he on pace for 2,000. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you got a 2,000 yard receiver, I'm sorry. Like I
That
don't
might
really
be
care what the quarterbacks do. If you got a 2,000 yard receiver, he better win MVP.
that's
Now, I feel the same way about 2,000 yard running backs. That's why I felt like Derrick Henry a couple years ago should have won
should win
MVP
MVP.
too,
Yeah.
because 2,000. You talking about a 2,000 yard back in a passing league on a team where they know he's the feature back.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just my thoughts on that one. I mean, so
Mm.
like my like 1A would probably be Lamar, just because like I mean I know what he means. Like, like
What's our record?
6-2.
Hmm.
6-2. And it's like because I mean, even when you look at like the MVP odds list, like Jalen Hurts is in here. Jalen Hurts ain't outplayed Lamar. I'm sorry. He just hasn't. Jalen Hurts has not been that good. I don't even
So
feel
you
like
said
I've been.
McCaffrey and then Jamar Jackson, right?
I would say so my three like that I feel good about. I would say Lamar Jackson. I would say Tyreek Hill, Christian McCaffrey. Because I
Uh,
think we like
that is.
I feel like offensive player of the year was created so we can give an offensive MVP. We can give the MVP
Yeah,
award to somebody outside of a quarterback. But I also don't think that's fair to a 2,000 yard receiver, possibly,
true.
or a guy
That's
who's
why
had a
it's
touchdown in
tough.
17 straight games.
Especially if he end up with 2,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, my joint, I'm gonna have to go with Lamar Jackson, man. Like right for now. And then I mean, it's not that many people that's close. Be honest with
And I mean, if you think of because a lot of people don't, and this is the thing, this is the hard part about the MVP award, because sometimes it becomes a stat sheet fest, right? Like you have to look at the stat sheet. And is Lamar Jackson leading the league in touchdown passes? No. Is Lamar Jackson leading the league in rushing touchdowns? No. But is he leading the league in yards? No. But when you got a guy that's over 80 some percent of your offense, he's literally been your leading rusher for the past couple of seasons. He might be right now. I think he's actually not for this year. Like, I think he deserves a little bit of credit for that.
you. Yeah, so I'm gonna go Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, bro. just because they haven't been looking good though. But he has been pulling it off. He's been playing hurt. So I don't know. I still ride with him, but not before Lamar Jackson. I go 1A, 1B with them two on that right there. With my man in Philly sniffing the asshole, but he not there yet. You know what I'm
I
saying?
just don't think Jalen has played as well as it looks like he's played.
Like he'll have one good like that last game was nice.
Yeah,
Last game they played.
I
But then you
think
watch the game before that and it would be
I
like,
think a guy that probably won't ever get no credit when it comes to the MVP race, but deserves a little bit more would be Tua. I could put Tua over Lamar maybe, because somebody got to be throwing Tyreek the ball. I'm sorry, and Tua is Tua is accurate. He gets the job done.
what's their record?
They
They
6-2.
lost 3 games, right? Oh,
They 6-2.
maybe.
Actually, Mahomes and Tua get to play this weekend. Well, they don't get to play in Kansas City or Miami, but they play in Germany.
I hate those games. By the time I wake up, that shit all over with.
Right.
I was like, it was a game today? Shit. Let's get ready for the games. I was like, that shit never happened. It's 1 o'clock yet? What going on? Ready to get it in. I can't wait this week, right? Get it in, boy. Well, I'm just mad my man ain't back yet, but I just love watching my team regardless, so I'll be all right. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Before we get out here, though, it's Sunday coming up. All the games coming up. We're going to give our bold prediction of who we think, what player going to stand out this Sunday in the NFL this week. So who you think about? Who you came up with?
Let's see. Uh, Let me see. I'm gonna be. I might have to be a homer again here. Okay. I might have to be a homer again here. Okay. Um. Okay. I'm gonna give two options. I'm gonna cheat a little bit because I like to cheat sometimes. So I'm gonna say for the Ravens, I'm going to say Odell Beckham. I think he's gonna have a big week this week. I'm just feeling. I feel a breakout coming. Okay, I feel a breakthrough. I feel it coming. Okay, that's what I'm gonna say about him. And then over the rest of the NFL, that's a good question right now. Over the rest of the NFL, I can't be a homer twice, can I? Can't be a homer twice, can I?
So we got Miami going against Kansas City, Minnesota against Atlanta, Arizona against the Cleveland. Now, is what's name back yet? The Cleveland? Or they still playing PJ Walker?
I don't know yet. Yeah, I don't know.
PJ Walker. It's just like some of these backups, you just look at it and be like, yeah, this is lost. It's like, yeah, we lost this one shit. Before the joint.
You know what? I'm gonna say my bold prediction is Jordan Addison continues to do his thing regardless of who his quarterback is. That's what I'm gonna say. Just imagine him with Justin Jefferson when they get to play together a little bit later, especially if they can figure out what the heck they're gonna do to their quarterback. Because I know they got Josh Dobbs now, but come on now.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna jump out there and say, damn, oh no, man. All right, my bold prediction for this week gonna be. This is so much going on in the NFL. It's hardly.
So can I say one more? Can I say one more as it comes out?
Good.
My other bold prediction, and this one might be a little far fetched. Okay, my other bold prediction is the 1-7 Cardinals light the Browns up because number one, Kyler Murray is back. I don't know if he actually is. That's why I'm being bold on this one because I don't know if he's coming back this week.
They haven't announced it yet. Yeah.
I think he's available to be started, but it just depends on how he feels.
I'm gonna jump out there and say, God, what's my name, man? What's Tampa Bay quarterback name?
Baker.
I'm gonna jump out and say Baker Mayfield gonna have a big day Sunday.
Okay. For the Panthers fan in me, I need them to lose. I need y'all to go ahead and beat the Saints. That's just how I need the Panthers to win, of course. That needs to happen. That's gots to happen. Okay.
You say you need the Panthers to win?
I need the Panthers to win. For the Panthers fan in me. We're talking about the Panthers fan in
Okay,
me
I
now.
got you. I got
Not the Ravens fan. Y'all, so this
you.
this for y'all who don't know me yet. I need that to happen. I can't find the other. Oh, I need the Falcons to lose too. I don't care who playing quarterback for the Vikings. I need the Falcons to lose. Okay,
All
that's
right,
why
so
it's
I'm gonna
all
give
the
my
time.
one more too, though. Right. My bold prediction for us winning and losses. Right. I think Dallas is gonna beat Philly.
Okay.
Is that a bold prediction?
I mean, I kind of because here's the thing about Dallas, right? Dallas has played good until they played good teams.
That's true.
So, I mean, now albeit one of the losses was to the Cardinals, but like they haven't looked good in that other loss. I think was to the Niners. They looked horrible. So.
Yeah, that's my bold prediction right there. I just think we're gonna be surprised this week by them. For sure. But my man's still hurt. He haven't come back yet. So next time we come back on here, hopefully he'll be back. We might have one game under our belt by the time he come back. You know what I'm saying? Maybe. Hopefully. You know. But we gotta we come Thursday. We play Thursday night. Sunday, Thursday night. I'm hoping he'll be back Thursday night at least. And we can just start our runoff, baby.
Yeah.
JF1 and the Bears.
Do y'all play the Panthers on Thursday night or no?
That is the Thursday night.
Is it?
Yeah.
Shoot. I didn't realize that.
So we come back. I'm hoping he come back for that game. But
Oh, wow,
yeah,
okay.
after that, he'll be back after that regardless. But hopefully
My
that game.
bold prediction for the Panthers playing the Bears. Let me stop.
That's the Panther Bears joint. You never know. That's 1 and 2 pick. You never know. We try and get away from that. You know what I'm saying, Doc? And keep their ass at number 1 so we can take that pick. Everybody don't know we got their pick for this year.
That's true.
If they lose, they ball them out. Got me looking. Damn, at least we get a high pick. Nope, the Bears have it. For sure. Appreciate everybody tuning in. You got something to say we got here though?
Nah, I mean, of course, it's always fun linking back up again, man, and talking these Ravens and these Bears, man. It's always a good time. Been doing this for a long time, the both of us. We like the old heads. We've been doing
most definitely.
We've been doing this for the. I give my shameless plug like I always do. You can make sure you check us out on all the major podcasting platforms. Okay, Spotify, YouTube, all of them. I know YouTube is not technically a major. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
no.
Put your Third Perspective podcast and then put your Fly Nation Speaks. You just, I mean, if you real technical with it, you might can play them at the same time. You never know what might come out. Okay, you get the Ravens Bears
playing
podcast.
In the bathroom and one playing in the living room when you come out. You know what I'm saying?
You gonna end up with the Ravens Bears podcast. You didn't even know it.
Exactly. You living good then. We do appreciate everybody though be tuning in for sure. Be back with more Ravens. I know a lot of y'all like Ravens, and y'all better like them Bears. You know what I'm saying? More Bears.